Hey everyone, today I want to show you how I make my grandmother's homemade egg noodles. I grew up on these noodles. We would go to my grandma's house, we'd make batches and batches of these, we'd put them into freezer Ziploc bags, and we'd have them all winter long. I love them. So I got her recipe out several years ago and I started making them here with our kids in our kitchen. They're way simpler than somebody might suspect an egg noodle to be, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. Pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 1 beaten egg. Yourself a rolling pin out. Yes. And you're just gonna need this to form a dough ball. Pretty good and dry. It's not going to crumble, but you don't want it to be tacky. And when you get to a tacky spot, I just add some flour and work it in. Then, once it's not tacky anymore, and it's pretty decently floured, just take my rolling pin and roll it out. Now, the key to this is as long as all of the noodles are the same thickness, they'll cook the same. Obviously, that's kind of an obvious thing to tell you. My grandma always made her noodles. She would tell me to be a nickel width thick, and that way she kind of calculated that out, so she knew that they would all be done in the right consistency at the right time. You can make them as thin as you want, and once you get it rolled out to be as thin as you want your noodles or your pasta to be, then I just cut it with a pizza cutter in the length and the size that you want. Like I said, I usually do a double or actually a triple batch. And then when I get these all cut out, you have 2 options. You can lay them over a chair or just on a flour sack towel for a day or so, or you could cook them up straight away. The drying them out will help them with storage, and the way we store these is cutting them up into small pieces, and then we put them in a freezer Ziploc bag and in the freezer. So When we were kids, we would make piles and piles and piles of Ziploc bags of noodles. We would distribute them out to all of the family members, and everyone would get some to put in their freezer. So this is what they look like after they've been dried out. They're really good and dry, and then this package goes in the freezer. So like this one I took out of the freezer, and it's been in my refrigerator getting ready to be used. The nice thing about this dough also is that once you get it rolled out, you can cut it into whatever kind of shapes you want. You could make it into curly noodles, you could keep it straight, you could do all sorts of creative things. We just prefer them straight because they're fast and easy, and that ensures that we're making a really fast homemade noodle straight away. I spread just a little bit of flour out on my towel here. You don't have to get fancy with how you're laying these noodles out. They will dry as long as they aren't on top of each other. And that's it. So from here you can either choose to dry them for a couple of days or cook them up in whatever kind of dish you're making. Thanks so much for joining me as we make our homemade egg noodles together. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like it and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you next week. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Stick this puppy on your mixer, or you can hand mix it however you like. I'm gonna have to hand mix it because it's such a small batch. Usually I do a double batch. That's why. The nice thing about this dough, I cannot. How am I supposed to say that to camera?